fascinating Renaissance friends. Hope endures in silence and solitude. How profound is that, huh? Okay? Let that sink in. Hope endures in silence and solitude. These are the words written by Emily Dickinson. Although he lived his life most of the time unseen, yet her words open doors to eternity. Okay, she has written 1,800 poems, often, from the solitude of her room. She wrote all of these poems alone in her room. She talked about, explored hope, right? That's where the quote came from: hope, death, immortality, and the beauty of the smallest details. Who is Emily Dickinson? Well, even if her writings, her work, remained unseen for so long, but when they were uncovered, she became one of America's greatest poets. Sometimes just like, who is this painter? I think it's Van Gogh. He wasn't really well known and prosperous artist until he died, until people discovered his works of art. So now it's Vincent Van Gogh, one of the foremost painters, of our time. That's the same thing with Emily Dickinson. All right. I suppose that's where we have hope endures in silence and solitude. Okay. So, one of the greatest, quotes that she wrote in one of her 1,800, poems, this one stood out for me, really stood out for me. Okay. It says very simply, forever is composed of nows, N-O-W-S, now, present. Okay? It says there, forever is composed of nows. I'm reminded of the statement, do you believe in a forever? Okay. I think young people always have that. Is there really a forever? All right? Yeah, Emily Dickinson says, forever is composed of nows. Okay, so let's unpack that. All right, right. Not just that quote, but some of the lessons that you will get if you read maybe just a portion of her 1,800 poems, because they explored hope and death and immortality and the beauty of the smallest details. No? Okay, so yeah. Is there a forever? Well, it depends upon your point of view. Okay, for a person of faith like me, who I subscribe to the Judeo-Christian ethics, values, and belief, which is really encapsulated or a part is captured in the Bible. Forever, there is a forever. Okay, this is this is eternal life is forever. Okay, after our life here on earth, because there's life after death. Okay, our spirit will go to Him and we will share eternal life. Eternal life, which is the forever version. Now let us go down to earth. In the meantime, is there a forever? Here on earth? I suppose there is a forever until until our physical bodies die, and our soul and spirit, soars up to God and be with our Creator forever. Okay, so love endures, hope endures while we are here. Okay, so That's how I really look at this. But then again, all right, I will share with you two lessons from reading some of her 1,800 poems. Okay, one is eternity is not far away. Okay, it is in the present moment. Okay. Now again, there are many schools of thought here. Okay, of course, the biblical point of view is eternity. Okay, eternity really is presence with the Lord after we die and our physical body decays. Okay. Eternity, she said, is not far away because it is, okay, in the present moment. Okay, while we live in the present moment, that is a taste of eternity. So I guess the question that I've been really mulling over is, how do we live our life? Okay? Do we focus on the regrets of the past and live in the past like, so and so hurt me. I should have gotten this. My parents should have done this. My parents should have given us money to start a business. Just like my friends. Do we spend our life like that in the past because we cannot bring it back? I teach that portion in one of my workshops, and that is the idea of Stephen Covey. And it says the circle of life, And there, it is really, okay, how do we live our life now? We cannot bring back, the past. We can, and then, the future is still out there. We don't know how it's gonna, unfold. But what we have only that we can actually grasp and live is the present. So how are we living our present? Okay. So it could be what are the opportunities that which are presenting themselves here. How do we, in short, when we wake up, we are given a clean slate, isn't it? Like yesterday's past, or so we actually made mistakes. So we did we what? We did something that we are sorry we did. Yeah, okay. But that's yesterday. Now we wake up. Now I'm doing this, I'm doing this, taping for you. What am I doing? This is my present. Okay? So I'm focusing on the present. How else can I serve you? My fascinating Renaissance friends, how am I living my life right now? Okay, inspiring you, okay, influencing you, impacting you, giving you lessons from my failures in the past. How am I correcting them? I guess that's what's more important because this, tomorrow is another new day. I don't know. I have a list of things to do. I always do that. I have plans and all of that, but they're still in the future. That's still tomorrow, even if they're only, how many hours from now. Okay, let's see here. But the present moment is in itself eternity within that window. So what are we doing now? Okay, that will make a big difference. That's what we should be focusing on, right? Okay. The second one is really, it really comes after Neruda, after Montaigne, after Neruda, not Montaigne. That will be in the other episode. The smallest things can carry infinite meanings. The smallest things can create or can carry infinite meaning. Okay, let me say that again. The smallest things, because I'm making things, I'm putting two things different together. The smallest things can carry infinite meaning. I guess that's what I'd like to tell you. Like smallest things. What could be what can be the smallest things? Maybe a sigh. I read this somewhere. A sigh, like you know, can carry infinite meanings. Well, it all depends, what meanings can you deduce? You gotta know the person, you gotta know the situation. Like, when you're looking at a beautiful sunset, one of the most beautiful sunsets is found in the Philippines according to tourism books, okay, tourism brochures. It happens every single day at Manila Bay in the city in the city of Manila, which is our capital city. Okay, the Manila Bay sunset. So everything is Manila Bay sunset cruise, Manila Bay sunset postcard. They all say that. Okay, that happens every single day. It's very simple. Okay, so I'm talking about the simplest things. Like maybe if I'm watching the beautiful sunset, I would say, hi. I would just give this beautiful sight because I cannot express enough the beauty, the colors, and the magnificent effect of the sunrise that I may be experiencing right at that moment. Okay, so what meaning could it carry? Maybe exaltation, of the God of creation. It's really glorifying my Lord, okay, for creating such a beautiful earth. I know that I know we have a terrible climate change, effects. The Philippines was just affected by the newest typhoon. It's supposed to be, the strongest typhoon ever yet, and yet the most parts of the Philippines, were spared. We only, I guess, experienced a few evacuations here and there. But in Hong Kong, the news said it's, category 10. Can you imagine that? Category 10, and even five-star hotels, have been affected by the storm surge. Okay, I know these are awful, awful things of nature, but we still have beautiful sunrise and a beautiful sunset. Okay, so that carries for me one of the most infinite meaning. We still have a great designer, a great creator who have created these beautiful things. Maybe, when you are exasperated with maybe your partner, okay, just a little thing, but then you say, ah, it is a different tone, isn't it? Versus, it is different facial expression. Okay, it could mean what? It could mean exasperation. It could mean resignation, whatever. So, see, as the simplest thing, like a sigh, can carry infinite meaning. Very rich indeed. As a closing reflection, let me read this for you. Dickinson's poetry teaches us to live more deeply, to notice more keenly, and to treasure the now. For that is where forever resides. Beautiful, isn't it? I like that closing reflection, okay? Dickinson's poetry teaches us to live more deeply, to notice more keenly, and to treasure the now. For that is where forever resides. Okay? So, if you have been inspired by Emily Dickinson and the rest of the literary genius that we talked about, in this series, okay, in this October series on, making literature, step out, of our classrooms and out of our old books, and, getting the timeless truths, that they have for living gracefully, wisely, and elegantly in the autumn of our life, then engage with me and share with me. If I did not mention your favorites, then maybe you can tell me who your favorites are and what are the lessons or the quote which actually resonated with you. Remember, my friends, okay? Literature must not just be read, it must be lived. So, don't forget, to subscribe, to my season of life with Malu Cervantes, 60 years and beyond. Okay, as we really learn more from literature, and this is episode 135, and episode 136 is coming next. Until then, adieu.